So this is a presentation that I had prepared back in 2010, 2011 that I took over to the North Central Texas Council of Governments, and I also made presentations in front of the local chapter of the American Society of Civil Engineers and several other locations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's on healthy communities. So there is a holistic approach that we can be taking. It's very important for us to be able to look at exactly what creates healthy communities. The most important thing is we need to have healthy environments because that's what's going to create healthy people. And obviously, healthy people are going to create healthy families who are then going to create healthy communities and all the way up the line. We want healthy cities, we want healthy counties, healthy states, and that's what creates a healthy nation. So the power really begins at the local level, and we need to be very involved. So, why are these so important? Okay, so here we have our world. If we don't have clean air, if we don't have clean water, if we don't have clean food, then what's going to happen with our health? We've got to protect our nature. We've got to protect our infrastructure because that's what helps us keep our communities vibrant and clean. So, this is something that's going to affect generations all the way down the line. We need clean and safe neighborhoods. We need healthy food choices. We need quality education. All of these things are important for us to create healthy community. And as we see today, our young people are speaking up because they're seeing that there is inequality in the way that these resources have been protected and shared within our communities. We also have a health crisis. For the first time, the generations that we have right now, the younger generations, do not have as high a life expectancy as our generations and above. We've got chronic diseases and their epidemics. And it all points to lifestyle and chronic disease. About half of all adults have one or more chronic health conditions. Ask yourself how many people that you know that are on multitude medications. Ask yourself why. Chronic diseases and conditions are among the most common, costly, and preventable of all health problems. Now, my intention when I took this over to the Council of Governments, I had just retired as a local public works director, and my passion has always been in advocating for health and healthy communities. And I wanted to make sure that we understood that all of these funds that we are receiving for our communities, that we are missing the target. We are certainly missing the target, not only locally, but nationally as well. That was my intention. I showed these slides, and I will show you every single one of the slides that I showed them, especially this one here. This is the one that got the gasp. This is the one that got the oh my gosh. Because if you look at the factors that influence our health, more than 51% has to do with how we live and our environment. We're looking at 73% of these factors that influence our health. We focus so much time and effort on the healthcare debate and the health insurance debate. And as you can see, 10%. Now, these numbers again are from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services from 2010. I have not gone back to update them, but my gut tells me that now the numbers are even worse. Also, 17% genetic makeup. If you will take the time to listen to a few recordings by Dr. Bruce Lipton on epigenetics, you will see that we also have many factors that affect how genetic makeup will influence any health factor that we have. There is overwhelming evidence that lifestyle factors such as poor dietary patterns, physical inactivity, tobacco use, excessive alcohol consumption, and psychosocial factors like Chronic stress, lack of social support, and community are key proximal factors in the pathogenesis and incidence of chronic non communicable diseases. It's very important. Right now, I want you to think about what our stress level has been, especially with the quote unquote pandemic that we have all been subjected to. So, think about how stress affects us. It's huge. I will just move through these very quickly because my intention in showing this presentation was to tell you that way back then, I was advocating for healthy communities. I visited neighborhoods, I visited schools in areas that are underprivileged, that don't have a lot of recent renovations and recent developments, etc. And I started looking for grocery stores. We have huge problems with access to nutritious foods in those communities. Now, if we take time to build and renovate our communities, we will see a shift in crime. We will see so many positive benefits socioeconomically. It's up to us. We need to speak up and we need to ask questions. We need to ask questions. Where is the money going? We need to follow that money because we have to protect our young people. We need a healthy environment that includes safe routes to school, which includes lighting, which includes sidewalks, quality nutrition. What are our kids eating? I'm not saying that we need to mandate that they need to eat greens every day, but we need to have healthy nutrition for them. We need to have fruits. We need to have vegetables. Need to have seeds. We need to have healthy things for them instead of soda and all kinds of commercially prepared things that have a shelf life that lasts forever. We need to think about what our children are eating. They need to be able to have physical activity. How many programs did we know before we stopped them from going to school because of this pandemic? How many programs do we know, schools that basically were restricting recess for them, restricting art and music? These things are important. It's very important. We have seen issues with housing options. We need to look at availability of healthy housing options for all life stages and for all lifestyles. There's so much we can do. We can do better, 100%. And I'm going to skip ahead pretty much because this document, I was so proud of this effort. And late last night, I actually went online and started researching what happened to it. And I'm going to be doing some more research to find out if anything has been actually produced as a result of this because it was a very good document. We had people from all levels working together on this. And frankly, I don't have a whole lot of hope. An article that I found last night was talking about how many more grocery stores were leaving certain areas. So I don't think that there's been much of an improvement. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I'll be able to come back and say, you know what? I was wrong. They've made a lot of effort on this, a lot of changes that I wasn't aware of, but I don't have really high hopes right now. Um, we definitely need to make changes for our children because we can't continue business as usual. That really doesn't help at all. Once we have good, healthy communities and we have developments that make sense, that are affordable, where you have grocery stores and entertainment and places for people to walk and play and have physical activity, we're going to see our local economy totally increase 100%. Bottom line, healthy communities begin with us. We need to ask questions because our children rely on us to make these good decisions. We've got to do better. 100%. We need to have conversations, whether they're difficult or not. We need to be familiar with what's happening with our community. We need to know what's going on with our kids, with our neighbors. We've got to be there for each other because we can't build our way out of crisis. It's not about the next highway project. It's not about the next big building. It's about people. Our communities need to know what they need, and our government officials need to listen, and they need to try to at least make an effort to provide what the community needs. It is up to us, definitely up to us. I ask you to get involved. I ask you to promote the following efforts: health and nutrition education, education reform, sustainable agriculture methods. The network of trails are really important. We need to be able to have choices for people to run and bike and play and connect between neighborhoods. I know that my husband and I downsized a few years back, and we're in a townhouse community, and we don't have any direct access to our trails. We have trails nearby, but when we want to go biking, we don't feel very comfortable biking on the major roads that are at the intersection of the entrance to our subdivision. And so we aren't feeling very safe about getting on these primary arterials in order to be able to get to a trail. So we need to try to interconnect neighborhoods and places of interest. Once we do get on a trail where we live in the city of Plano in Texas, there is a very good network of trails, but those networks don't really connect. You've got trail systems that don't really connect. So it's not 100%, but it's definitely better than a lot of places. Um, it makes a huge difference for us when we want to get on our bikes and head out the door. I also recommend that we keep an eye on what's happening with development practices. Infrastructure maintenance management is really important. You know, a lot of times we have projects that come in and they build a certain number of homes, and they build the water lines and sewer lines and the storm drainage, and then they build the streets and the lighting, etc., to support these homes. But then what happens many years later, they don't have the funds to be able to maintain the, say, the water system or the sewer system, and then we start having a lot of environmental issues. So before we approve a project in a community, we, the neighbors, the citizens of that community, should speak up and should at least address what are the plans of the city or the county to have funds available for the maintenance, the proper maintenance of what's in the public right of way. Out of sight, out of mind. And a lot of times, the money that should be going to infrastructure maintenance management goes to pet projects. We need to follow the money. We need to follow the money. And the biggest item that I want to discuss is that we need to redevelop neglected communities. We need to redevelop them. It makes a huge difference in the safety, in the character of the neighborhood, and our citizens deserve that. We can take steps to protect our community by minimizing the negative effects that we have on our environment. It's our world, it's our earth. We need to protect it. And I do ask you to help make our voices heard, take part in the conversation. Social media is out there: Facebook, Twitter. There are meetups. Well, right now we can't really meet up with anybody, but start writing a blog. Call your local official, your county official, your state official. Write to your federal elected officials, because without health, there is no happiness. And I'm going to stop here. I will post the slideshow on my website. I will have that available for you. And if you have any questions, please give me a call or text me. Thank you.